new champions when they come out regarding their viability on Summoner's Rift. People are eager to try them right away, but there, of course, the champion spotlight focuses heavily on Summoner's Rift. So you get a little feel for what you might see, what you might not see, and if you do see them in any sort of tournament, be it amateur or pro setting, you kind of know what to expect. But in Dominion, it's really up to the community and the players to kind of bring that about. So he has not been banned. We'll see if he gets picked in the first round match today.
We are going to see an Ezreal ban, however, Ezreal being one of the more popular ranged ADs in Dominion right now. Another really popular one being Vayne, which we see every now and again. But Wukong not getting banned. Wukong getting picked. Sometimes we don't see him banned, sometimes we don't see him picked. Sometimes we just see him used, and we're going to get a chance to see some Wukong play here. Wukong is a very durable champion. His ultimate is a great AoE interrupt with that airborne, and he can be a little tricky with the stealth play as well, although not as maybe stealthy as some other champions. But that ability to sort of use it to juke and to dodge skill shots and just kind of fake positioning is always a really nice thing to have on your team. And we're seeing a Blitzcrank highlight and a Riven highlight as well. Two characters with an extreme amount of interruption, disruption. Riven having two of them, a stun and an airborne, and Blitzcrank having three with the silence, the stun grab, and the airborne from the punch there. Those two champions combined, I mean, if they team up on someone, they're going to lock them down really, really good and enable whoever their damage dealer might be to really cut people down.
Definitely, we do see Riven has been locked in. Blitz most likely going to be locked in here too. Timer has run out. So, Blitz and Riven. I haven't seen Riven in a long while. And then we're looking at a Sivir highlight, and York was chat banned. So I'm assuming that's just a joking highlight. There we go. Gonna switch on over. But Sivir being highlighted. Sivir, you know, doesn't really see much action just because there's that, especially on Summoner's Rift, there's that kind of like holy trinity of AD carries, and on the Crystal Scar, it's usually been pretty much just Ezreal. Now and then you'll see Kog'Maw or Vayne, given how much damage they can do and how they can kite quite well. But Sivir, not one we're used to seeing, so I was a little surprised, but it is going to get switched out here and there. We're seeing various highlights for both players right now here on the amputee side. We'll see what they finalize with. It could be Hecarim and Warwick. I haven't seen Hecarim too much in the tournament setting. Is it going to be Taric? Also not a champion I'm used to seeing, so at this point, it looks like it's going to be locked in though. So Taric going to be locked in alongside Warwick, a Warwick who we've seen a little bit more often here at the tournament.
Warwick is a champion with a lot of sustain. He's hard to kill as well, and suppresses are very good to have handy. So we see Warwick around, but we don't see Taric very often. Now Taric strikes me as a good pick because I've seen Bruiser AD Taric be used effectively in Dominion. I don't know if he's going to go for that build or not, but I've also seen support style Tarics do well in this game mode. Now Taric has a stun, he's got a little bit of a heal going on as well, and Taric can be kind of tanky. And since tanky is sort of the meta right now, then I think that Taric's a really good pick. I don't see him enough in-game to really be able to elaborate more on it, unfortunately. However, something that I do see a lot in-game is the Urgot and Swain that we are seeing highlighted for Team Trepidation. Urgot is one of the better bottom laners in Dominion because of the long range that he has that he can harass at, and having the Terra Capacitor for that extra durability. When you feel like a skill shot is coming in, or you feel like the other guy's gonna come in to harass, you can pop that Terra Capacitor, and it'll help you out. Additionally, he has the Suppress, which is great. And Swain is probably the most durable of all the AP champions that there are. Durable in the sense of having sustain, I guess, because with that Ravenous Flock, he is able to stay alive. But one of the problems that Swain has is, what do you build on Swain? Do you build a lot of mana to sustain Ravenous Flock, or do you build a lot of AP to do damage? Are you going to rely on being alive and letting your number of times that you get to use your spells be the damage dealer, or are you going to build AP and just let those few spells be your damage dealer because of how much damage they will be doing? we'll have to see how that plays out. We're also seeing a Vayne, and as you were mentioning, Chobra, about AD carries in Dominion. Vayne, Kog'Maw, Ezreal seem to be the top three. We see some Varus play once in a while. People seem to like him, and they also seem to like Ashe a little bit occasionally as well. And Vayne, if left unchecked, will destroy you. There's a player, Buddha Rice, who is known for some very, very powerful Vayne play, and she can certainly be a force to be reckoned with, especially with Condemn and walls. There's just so many walls in Dominion. And we're seeing Skarner as well. And Skarner is a highly mobile champion who is also durable. Again, you'll notice durability is a theme here. And that durability is going to be even further increased by Taric as well, because I'm looking at this team now and I'm seeing Skarner, I'm seeing Warwick, I'm seeing Wukong, I'm seeing Taric. Taric is really effective against physical damage characters, and I see a couple of them over on the other team. I see Urgot, I see Riven. I think it's going to help, balance out a little bit there. And we're seeing Rise as the last pick for Nyx 87. Rise he's an old school favorite, does a lot of damage, build a lot of mana, blow people up, throw that volleyball around. That overload damage is pretty great.
Yep. Pretty spot on. Yeah, Tarek. I mean, definitely a very good kind of tanky aura support. I mean, just because he starts with an aura of the armor buff, and then you can shred the enemy's armor when you see fit for the extra damage. The radiance on his ultimate adds a ton of stats to his teammates. So definitely not a bad pick. It's just not one we're used to seeing. But on paper, given the skill set, given the team compositions on both sides right now, should see some good action, especially also with that stun. That's going to guarantee some good initiations. I mean, right now there's a lot of good ways to initiate. Skarner can pull someone in, and then Vayne can get a good condemn or dazzle condemn. Of course, there is the suppression from Warwick, and then Wukong has an AoE initiate with his Cyclone. So we'll see how that turns out. On the other side, though, it's just as deadly because we do see Blitzcrank, who alone has the power for some great pickoffs with his Rocket Grab. And then Urgot, of course, as you mentioned, has that suppression. And Riven can really just kind of jump in without any worries as long as the team is right behind her.
Another thing that is a little, I think, what's the word? Under trafficked, under talked about. Something that people just don't put enough stock in, I think, is the fact that Wind Slash has a lot of freaking range. You can throw that through most of the walls in Dominion and just clean people up with it once in a while. That's something that you definitely have to remember whenever you're playing against a Riven on the enemy team. You don't see it too often because you have to be, you have to be in the right position for it. But if you're near a wall, there's a Riven on the other side, it's got her ult up, you can get taken out. And I've seen so many deaths to that in tournament play against Rivens that I think you need to be just a little bit more wary sometimes when trying to flee from that particular champion. I do see a lot of lockdown. I see a lot of snares on Team Trepidation, or just a lot of things that keep them in one place. We have the airborne from Blitzcrank. We have the airborne and the stun from Riven. We have the snare from Swain, and we have likely bottom lane. We have the rune prison from Rise as well. So I could see someone diving to make a gank. Someone like Warwick or Wukong coming down to make a gank and just getting locked into place. You have that extra time to be bought for your team to come down there and react to it. Especially with Blitzcrank around, because Blitzcrank is a very, very fast champion with Overdrive. If you go for the Overdrive first build with Blitzcrank and you build sort of AD, you take, one of each of your interrupts, you just power Overdrive, and you power Fist, and you get Rocket Grab up last. That's why you'll see a lot of people in competitive play hold on to their Rocket Grab because they don't have a lot of ranks in it usually. They usually only keep one rank in it until near the end of the game. So you'll see them run up to people to connect with that airborne and then only use the Rocket Grab when they really need to secure them if they were trying to run away or something like that, found some way to close the gap or create a gap rather with something like Arcane Shift or, Jarvan's Wall Dash, something like that. You don't see him using it to initiate really because it needs to be used to pull people back into a fight because Blitzcrank can get in there pretty quickly anyway with Overdrive and attack speed item if he even bothers to get one because Overdrive still is a lot of movement speed. But we're going to be loading into the game pretty soon here.
Yep, this will be round one match. The round or a round one match rather, between amputees and trepidation. For those of you guys just joining us, this is the 24th weekly tournament here at Dominate Dominion, powered by Cybersports Network. And once we load in, we'll get going. Quite a few teams signed up this week. Pretty excited to see that.
Yeah, 14 teams. This week there were quite a few returning favorites, actually, to the competition. This time we have Blind Pick Banditos, we have Payzone and Child Support, Amputees, Trepidation, CND Gaming. We also have Beware Tall Grass, Pootie's Gone Wild, Feel the Vibe is in there as well. I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, Double GP5s is back. They haven't been in competition in a week or two. So, yeah, we have a lot of returning teams, so it's good to see those guys back in the tournament. And a couple of new ones also as well. There is a team stat as well as a team.
Oh, nope. The call
What?
has. Oh, are you there?
I'm here. Are you here?
Now you're a robot. Good old Skype call qualities. It should be okay now though. The warning sign went away.
Does it work now?
I still hear you. The voice quality got a little bit better. It's still worse than how we started, but definitely audible. So it's not an issue. I think it's getting better and better. So we just gotta give it some time. As long as you're loaded into the game, I don't think there should be any big issues here.
Well, my spectator client doesn't want to load again.
Aha. Well then, while we're waiting for hopefully Gander's client to get back online, always giving him trouble, that client of his. We do see the teams have loaded in. Game, of course, has not officially started yet, because in Dominion you have to wait for these platforms to finish, giving teams some time to. Oh, the game has actually been paused. I'm wondering if maybe one of the players also are having a bit of a connection issue. There's been some server hiccups this past week. Hopefully nothing too major, and game will continue. But yeah, you know, on Dominion, every champion starts at level 3, so giving you some time to figure out what abilities to start with, what items you want to build. Nothing too special here. We do see 2 catalysts on Trepidation side. Blitzcrank actually going with the catalyst instead of a tier, which you might see more often. Rise, of course, going with that catalyst, not surprising there. And then we're looking at a lot of boots, some Kindle gems here and there spread out across both teams, and then some Prospector blades. The game has started. We're seeing a standard kind of 4 top 1 bot start for both teams. So nothing crazy at level 1. Riven and Warwick will be the ones stopping at the middle towers to capture those for their respective teams. And Swain's going to be the first one to reach the windmill here, but won't have too much time to start a cap. Actually, Vane's going to go ahead and touch the tower first. Swain didn't want to open himself up to some free damage, and very, very good play, allowing Tempest CP on Urgot to put out some good damage onto all 3 members of the enemy team, Vayne, Tarek, and Wukong, and now they're just kind of having a tug of war as Riven's looking for a window of opportunity to jump in from behind. The stun will not land over the wall, but there's a good snare once again from Swain. Swain landing some good skill shots. Urgot also getting a good lockdown, and then Riven jumps in onto Warwick, and that's gonna make Wukong jump in, and now it's a full-on 4v4 teamfight. Vayne is putting out some free damage, but there's a good snare stopping her advancement, allowing Riven to go and get the health rally. Meanwhile, Blitzcrank's mana barrier has been popped, and we see Wukong chasing through for the kill, but Swain's actually gonna pick him up first. As he was chasing from behind. Now 1 kill has been traded on both sides. Vayne is still quite low, but she's still putting out some good damage. Urgot's trying to lock her down as Tarek and Warwick fight to keep Urgot locked down, but Urgot has too much health already. Urgot takes down Vayne, and now it's a 3v2. Blitzcrank comes in for some extra crowd control, and then he goes right back to the tower. Great play by the feed ski, helping his team out, and then going back for the channel. He's not going to be able to finish it as Wukong comes in. The tower has not been finished. Warwick is still harassing the enemy team on half health. Urgot should go down here as Warwick continues to chase, and now Swain's the only one who's going to try to get out alive, picks up the health relic, but Vayne is on the chase. There's the snare. Can Swain get out alive? Is Vayne going to keep chasing is the bigger question, as Riven is stopping both Warwick and Wukong from capturing the tower. Now 3 people from amputees left alone at the windmill. As we see Blitzcrank and Urgot come up, can they stop it? They do have a long way to channel on that windmill. 2v4 though, it's a little bit dangerous. They're going to just distract the entire team of amputees and then run away, waiting for their team to rejoin them, but I don't think they're going to go back in just yet, so the windmill should go first to amputees here, making it 490 to 485 to start. Meanwhile, we do see Blitzcrank actually going to port back to base. Didn't have a chance to buy items as he was in a rush to get back after using that revive. Chooses to pick up those boots before joining back up with his team. All of them were taking some time to regroup anyway. Not going to be too detrimental there. We do see Blitzcrank rushing in, using that speed boost. He did see Tarek leave that brush. He's going for the grab, but it's going to miss. Good juke by Azizo. But there is the knockup on Wukong's clone, actually. Great play by Wukong. Wukong jumps right back in with the cyclone. He's going to knock up the entire enemy team, break the suppress on Vayne. Urgot is now just completely defenseless, has so little health. Riven trying to save him with her AoE stun, and they are able to pick off Wukong first, but Trepidation is not looking too good. There is the grab to stop Tarek from doing any more crowd control, and Trepidation actually going to come out on top there in a 1-for-3 trade in favor of them. Swain now at half health is going to start channeling on this windmill. Warwick is looking to harass, but Riven is at full health pretty much, so Warwick doesn't want to initiate a fight just yet. There's a Garrison trying to save the tower for the moment. Blitzcrank and Swain going to back out for a second, waiting for that cooldown to come back up on the tower channel. They're going to neutralize it while Riven fights Warwick, and Swain, now that they've neutralized it with a minion wave coming up, is going to leave and try to help Riven, chasing off Warwick. Meanwhile, bottom, Skarner has actually defeated Rise, and now pushing up against the Boneyard, going to go back and look for some items as Rise has been forced to burn his revive. Meanwhile, at the windmill, once again, another Garrison being popped, this time by Trepidations. Valandum on Swain, just trying to defend this tower. Urgot and Riven show back up. Riven is quite low on health this time around, but still gets out alive as Vayne comes in with that Storm Shield, not able to pick off the kill. Blitzcrank now trying to chase the enemy team, gets his AoE silence now, but he is stunned with a Condemn, but there's a great grab from Blitzcrank, catching Azizo on Tarek, and Trepidation picks up yet another kill here in the top portion of the map. Meanwhile, bottom, we're seeing Nice 87 on that Rise, being a little bit pressured. He needs to watch out. We're going to see Vayne come in from behind, and Brown Bruiser gets some good shots, and there's a Storm Shield and a Condemn to push him away. There's a Garrison onto this Boneyard, but 3 members is just too much, especially with Warwick jumping on him with his ultimate. That suppress, and if that was interrupted, Skarner would also have his Impale ready. Actually, it is on cooldown. He used that to get that solo kill, but it was not needed anyway. Swain comes in to defend this tower, but Warwick's trying to channel it from behind his back. Not going to be able to do so. The defender's advantage is still there. Tower putting out some good damage onto Skarner. Skarner needs to watch out. Warwick trying to channel it to help him out, but Skarner eventually will go down to the tower before taking out Swain. Swain not dead just yet, but Warwick comes in for the kill. Riven, meanwhile, has taken out Vayne, and now going to chase off Warwick. They did neutralize the Boneyard, but Rise has come back up, so that tower will go promptly back to Trepidation's favor, and that left only Urgot and Blitzcrank to defend top tower, but it was okay because Amputees was the first team to send all their resources down to the bottom portion of the map. So it's a 2v2 situation up top here on the screen. Seeing Urgot and Blitzcrank against Tarek and Wukong. Urgot and Blitzcrank definitely have the range advantage here, and they can pick off someone a little bit easier. We're going to see amputees send Vayne and Warwick back up top. The team grouping up here in the middle portion of the map. We're going to see Swain and Rise. They might get caught as they're making their way up to the windmill. We see amputees all set up, and Valandum and Miss Mia Rose send something, and they go right around the middle portion, going towards the health relic here, and running past the drill, and Wukong and Tarek actually go right behind their backs, go straight for the drill. They're going to start the channel. Only Wukong is left there as we see Warwick jumping down onto Swain with that suppression. But Swain's going to get out with his ultimate to try to sustain, but his ultimate was stopped. And meanwhile, Blitzcrank not able to land a grab. Swain's completely getting chased by 3 people. This leaves Urgot free to rush towards the refinery and get a free neutralize, if not a capture on this. So amputees really needs to capture at least 1 tower, if not 2, to make that even remotely worth it. Riven not going to be able to get the Wind Slash onto Vayne, just a little bit out of range. Urgot's going to take the refinery for Trepidation, keeping them at a steady 3 cap. And now Blitzcrank, Riven trying to regroup with Urgot here in the middle of the map. Urgot, is he going for the pickup? No, there's 3 members of the enemy team, so they don't want to initiate just yet. and Vayne meanwhile is going to port back to base. So the windmill is left open, so if Urgot goes up here with Riven and captures this right away while Wukong tries to recapture the refinery for amputees, Trepidation will still come out on top. There's the Dazzle, but here comes Blitzcrank at full health and full mana. They're going for the 3v2 fight in favor of Trepidation. They have Taric down solo. Taric will go down immediately. Warwick tries to jump onto Riven using the tower to his advantage, but Warwick's gonna get snared by Swain, who has just joined his team. Riven, meanwhile, at low health, still just doing the zoning for Trepidation. The Urgot switch actually puts Vayne closer to his teammates, but it's not gonna matter because the tower has been neutralized, and Vayne's gonna get killed immediately, but not without taking a double kill against the enemy, taking out Urgot as a second kill. Meanwhile, Warwick, now left all alone as Wukong falls to Swain, is forced to run as a minion wave comes up to help Swain and Blitzcrank capture the windmill for Trepidation. Warwick just silently trying to farm up and push up against the windmill here for amputees. Meanwhile, bottom, Rise is still having some trouble just being completely pressured against his own tower. It's constantly, the action is constantly here next to the Boneyard. Skarner just clearing out the minion waves before they even come out to the lane. Top, it's Blitzcrank alone, but Swain is here to help his teammates, so Warwick and Taric are not going to die. Warwick was at pretty low health. The tower is in favor of Trepidation here on the red side. Meanwhile, Wukong catches Riven in the middle, puts out some good damage, and then Warwick actually jumps onto Swain, brings him down to half health. He's forced to run back under the tower with his ultimate on, and he's just trying to kite with his ultimate, trying to get some life back. There's a great grab, bringing back that Vayne. That's the target Trepidation really wants to take out first. Excellent, excellent pick off by the Feedski on Blitzcrank. Now we're going to see Urgot, Swain, and Riven just push out the minion wave towards the refinery, giving them some breathing room so some of them can go back and get some fresh items, heal up, come back with full resources ready to fight. Meanwhile, Rise is still just trying to push out this minion wave. It's not really working out in his favor, so we are going to see Blitzcrank actually come in for assistance. Gonna start pressuring up against this Corey. He's just going to go straight for the channel, and that's going to draw a lot of attention down from the middle. Vayne, Wukong are going to come down from the middle, and Skarner's actually gonna come from base. Not gonna get the neutralize, very, very close. Nice try, but that did give his own teammates some time to regroup. Maybe go for the Storm Shield. Warwick, is he gonna stop it? No, he's not gonna stop it as Urgot pressures him away. Swain picking up that Storm Shield. Vayne, meanwhile, was not able to pick it up just yet. Are they gonna go for this free Storm Shield right now, though? Yes, they will go straight for that. And Trepidation also will not be able to contest it. Urgot's going to run right into Warwick. Are they going to initiate? Trepidation goes for the fight. Wukong's going to jump right in. Vayne is at the back. We got so much free damage. Finally does get exhausted, but Riven's going to get taken down without an answer. Warwick with the great suppress. Great rocket grab brings Vayne out of the fight, but gonna get condemned. So Blitzcrank's going to go down. Brownfist are doing so much free damage. Vayne's teammates are doing so much work for her to be able to put out that much damage, especially with that Storm Shield, helping with the AoE against the entire enemy team. So we're going to see Taric and Vayne pressure against Temp CP on Urgot here at the drill. Do they want to go for the kill before the tower? Yes, they're just going to go straight for the kill. Taric taking so much tower damage though. Vayne needs to get the kill fast. Taric tries to run out of tower range, is going to live at the last minute. He's going to get a heal just in case and start the channel, but Riven and Swain have spawned and they're coming back out. So is Blitzcrank, so Taric and Vayne will retreat. But Warwick, meanwhile, has taken the windmill for amputees. So now it's a reverse 3-2 cap in favor of the blue team.
Blitzcrank did get a very good grab there in on Vayne, but there really wasn't any damage to follow it up with, and Vayne was just able to chip away. However, they were able to reflect the push away from the drill, and now the engagement here in the center. Hammerhand getting really low on health and getting taken down with Wukong, one of their main damage dealers, being taken out there. They are going to go ahead, they're going to break off that engagement for the time being. No God Try Science heading up towards the windmill there, slipping past that AoE there from Swain in order to get up there to interrupt Mia, but Mia is a durable champion, but locks down the suppress, throws a garrison on the Tower of Land, gets caught by Hammerhand, which gives No God Try Science a few more moments to keep Riven zoned up there. Missing with the grab, unfortunately, Feedski not able to land that at the moment. Tempest EP partnered up there with him, and Azizio, is he going to do it? Yes, he gets the stun in on the Feedski. Feedski running, he's got that overdrive procced, and we're going to see that grab right there. Grabs No God Try Science, and there's that lockdown I was talking about before the game began. Immediately there, followed up with Riven and Hammerhand using the ultimate there to break the fight up just a little bit. Feedski having to go back. Mia Rose, grabbing Brown Bruiser there. Brown Bruiser, don't do it. Don't chase him. Okay, good. Vayne not going to opt to stand in that laser there. Vlandum getting stuck right into that wall there, but didn't seem too concerned with it, although maybe a little bit more concerned now that his HP has been reduced to 0. Still pressuring the drill there, but not able to get it yet. Maybe overstaying their welcome just a little bit, as coming back from the summoner platform, Team Trepidation is able to clean up that push. And No God Try Science is recapping the windmill, but he has 2 people incoming.
Meanwhile, Nice87 gets to the Boneyard just in time. He had to leave that bottom tower to help his teammates. He needs to keep Skarner off this tower. Skarner could just care less about his health if he can get the neutralize. The minions are going to get it for him, so Skarner now, mission accomplished, is going to retreat. Meanwhile, top, we do see Urgot getting the shutdown. Tempest EP and Feetsky still going up against Brown Bruiser, and this is not a fight Blitzcrank wants to be in. Vayne putting out so much damage, the true damage just chunking away at his health. Vayne is relentlessly chasing, and now that she knows that Blitzcrank is forced to retreat, gonna go back to the windmill, which has been neutralized. Not much left on his. Blitzcrank gonna go for the grab at the last minute. He does, but the tower has been captured a half a second too late for Feetsky. Vlandum also going to retreat. I was to see Hammerhand coming in. Hammerhand's been doing a lot of damage with this Wukong, and Blitzcrank barely getting saved with that Swain's snare across the wall.
Now, Wukong, a champion that we don't see very often, but he is usually pretty scary. And Wukong is one of the main sources of damage that they do have, although they seem to be handling him pretty well. They have a lot of snares, they have a lot of crowd control, but it's a matter of them being able to control Blitzcrank. And if they don't, Mia Rose getting caught walking through the forest, as it were. We're going to grab pulling Azizio out of the fight there. And now Vlandum taking a lot of damage, getting taken down immediately there. They want to get rid of Swain because of his AoE, and we have a 5v5 fight brewing. Fenrir and Nix87 coming up from the bottom there. Fenrir getting taken down, but Mia Rose a little bit worse for wear, and she's going to circle around away from that. Nix getting caught and blown up by the entire team there, and Mia Rose circling around those cooldowns, now off cooldown, using that to throw a bunch of damage into the fight there. And Feetsky now in the front of the group, getting burst for a good portion of his hit points. Though Nix87 is back, and a nice grab on Hammerhand there, but there was no one to follow it up with. Nix had already retreated a little bit. He's going to throw the spell flex, going to deal a little bit of damage, but it's really not going to threaten anyone. But he catches Azizio with the Rune Prison, and with the help of Blitzcrank getting him shut down right there, and they are able to take out Wukong as well. A pretty deep in push there by Amputees.
Yeah, Amputees has been really aggressive ever since they took down that windmill, and now it's going to hurt them a little bit as the minions have pushed out in favor of Trepidation, but Vayne's going to pick off Blitzcrank without much of an issue. Maybe. No, Riven's going to get the stun. Can Feetsky live through this? No, eventually will go down, but Urgot's also going to get the shutdown onto Vayne, which is going to allow the 3 members of Trepidation here to capture the windmill back in their favor, giving them the 3-2 cap right back, right before they actually got taken over in Nexus Health score. So they're still in the lead just by a little bit. But as you mentioned, Amputee is getting a little bit greedy in their push against the drill.
Yeah, they really wanted to try and drive that one home, but they weren't able to do so. However, that active pressure did have the side effect of keeping them pinned into their base, so they, even though they lost that engagement, Trepidation was really just not in a position to counter push that because of how far into their own territory they were. And now, Creepwave up on the windmill, getting a little bit of cap in on it, but Vlandum getting caught by himself right there and killed very, very quickly. Mia Rose now seems to be the focus target. They're throwing an exhaust on her so as to limit her damage. And now Feetsky is going to be the next target. Tempest EP doing as much damage as he can, but is it going to be enough to save this point? I don't think that it will. He is going to go down. Feetsky is up there by himself, but he doesn't have any health right now. And he is going to go for Azizio, though, but Tarek does have that heal. His HP is alive. With the help of Vlandum, they are able to take him down. Vlandum now, it's up to him to defend this windmill. Blitzcrank is looking a little bit worse for the wear, although he is going to engage again. Makes a dive straight in there for Vayne, trying to shut him down, but not able to do so. Unfortunately, Vayne's damage so high, and the amount of the auto attack that they took there really was just not good for them.
Yeah, but finally we do see Rise has taken out a kill against Skarner, and Riven coming down to help. But we see Wukong and Tarek responding very, very quickly. They're not going to be able to get this captured. They really wanted it. It is the objective. Wukong actually is taking a ton of damage. He's trying to run away with that decoy. Not going to happen. Rune Prison locks him down. Can they take out Tarek before any other help arrives? Tempest EP actually going to come down here for this cap. They want to take away the objective so that they can have that damage buff to end the game. If at all possible. Riven gonna chase away Warwick. They do capture the quarry in favor of Trepidation. They do have that damage buff, but Rise is gonna get caught a little bit behind a straggler, and that's exactly what Skarner and Tarek want to see. They're gonna just go for the kill. So Rise goes back in to put the garrison down on the tower before he dies to keep it alive a little bit longer. Meanwhile, because of all that resource focus down onto the quarry from amputees, that allows Feedsky and Blitzcrank to try to neutralize the refinery, but more importantly, Swain gonna recapture the windmill for Trepidation here.
Yeah, with 4 people down there at the bottom and trying to capture 2 points, they can really only respond to one of them, and they went for the refinery. They could not get to the windmill in time. So there's a fight breaking out, though, however, in the middle of the map. Hammerhand with the airborne putting out some damage to some CC there, but being the focus target as a result for it. And now, Brown Bruiser, you can see that lifesteal coming into play, keeping him up for a lot longer than he would have had. And now No God Try Science is the last person standing up against Team Trepidation. And Blitzcrank has something to say about that. It's called Static Field and shuts Warwick down right there. Vayne in that last engagement, that lifesteal kept him up for a good extra 6 to 8 seconds that he would not have been able to. Nyx 87 though on the bottom, able to take out Metal Fenrir and save his tower. Pretty good play there by Nyx 87. Close fight on the bottom lane.
Very, very close. Just a matter of one ability from either champion making the difference there. When we are going to see Aziza and Hammerhand go straight for the windmill alongside Brown Bruiser. Brown Bruiser's been playing quite well, but in that last fight, the team just wasn't able to support that lifesteal and the kiting. They were right in the middle, and Vayne was actually completely zoned, not able to contend very well. Riven actually gets melted by all 3 champions. Now there's a suppression from Warwick onto Tempest DP. There's a grab onto No God Try Science, but that's not exactly where Feedsky wants to be right now. Blandum and Feedsky need to make a run for it. Azizo and No God Try Science are going to chase away the enemy champions. Brown Bruiser joining them as Hammerhand has gone back to the windmill for the capture. Feedsky trying to pick off someone across the wall there. Not going to happen. Meanwhile, Nyx 87 pushing out against the quarry, realizes he's a little bit too far out. The enemy team is next to their drill. He's really susceptible to ganks, decides to back off, and that's going to leave Tarek getting cut off by Blitzcrank and Swain, but here come Vayne and Warwick right away. It turns into a 4v2 very, very quickly. Blandum trying to live with his ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. Urgot and Riven now doing some damage, but Riven uses her Wind Slash while in exhaust. That's going to mitigate so much of that damage. Vayne is still alive, just kiting back and forth, getting that lifesteal down, getting the double kill before getting taken out by Urgot. And now Urgot is the one with a double kill. Mia Rose still alive, doing quite well at half health. Feedsky comes back in for the static field at such a low health. No God Try Science now fighting 1v1 against Miss Mia Rose, and actually is forced to run away while Feedsky goes down to the bottom tower to help Tempest EP as they try to lock down Metal Fenrir and kill him off, but he gets the impale. He's gonna get the kill onto Blitzcrank, and now he's looking for the kill onto Tempest EP. Tempest EP just needs to stall a little bit longer. They just don't want to lose the tower at this point, and that is enough time. Blandum and Nyx 87 coming back to save the tower, still in a 3v2 situation, but this time, once again, in favor of amputees.
There's a very good play there, leaving Riven to deal with Warwick. You just need one person to zone that enemy champion away, break the other 2 off to be able to go down and save the bottom point, although they weren't able to get that bottom point right away. They do have it recaptured now. It is 3 caps to 2 in favor of amputees at the moment. You see them grouping up in the bushes over there by the speed shrine. 2 people poking their heads out in front. Feedsky going for a grab, pulling Azizio in, but not necessarily the best person to pull in the fight, as Brown Bruiser's Vayne is just hanging outside the fire, chipping away at everyone there. 1 kill, 2 kill. Are we going to see 3 kills? We're going to see 3 kills. Are we going to see 4 kills? Is Brown Bruiser going to take this home? No. Tarek doesn't want Vayne to have a quadra kill. He does not play well with others. Mia Rose, though, up again, going to back out to the point over at the drill to provide some disruption and some delay on that. But against 3 champions, one of them being that Vayne, who's just doing so well so far this game, not able to pick that up. So they are going to lose the drill, unfortunately, and everyone that's over there to defend it has a pretty good amount of health. But grabbing Azizio again, Blitzcrank loves Tarek. His armor has an imprint of Blitzcrank's fist. It fits right in like a Lego and pulls him over. They're going to get that kill off on Tarek. They're going to turn that drill around very, very quickly. Warwick having to retreat up to the top point, and Nyx 87 pushing up on that bottom lane there, creeping slowly closer to it, and Blitzcrank and Urgot are coming around from the side. Metal Fenrir sees what's going on now, and he is in a bad spot, getting locked down with that rune prison right away there. There's lots of minions. That tower is going neutral, but is it going to go captured? The Brown Bruiser sees that there's 3 people there, backs off, waits for his teammates to come. Azizio getting grabbed by Blitzcrank again. Blitzcrank and Tark, the best of friends right here, but Azizio getting caught in a pretty rough spot away from his team, not able to really provide any support to them, being out away from them like that. And Brown Bruiser catching Tempest DP. There's a suppress and a grab and all sorts of bad things. Silence goes off, and Tempest DP narrowly escaping there. The Painkiller survival method have 2-digit hit points and leave the battle in one piece. The bottom point is captured right now. Nyx A7 has got to try and hold it against Fenrir and Wukong, and there's just so much damage between those 2 champions. He's going to throw down the Garrison in the delay. He's got the ultimate, gets a little bit extra sustain off of that. He is able to take Wukong down in the exchange, but Metal Fenrir is going to be able to neutral that point. However, another one of those plays while things were going on bottom lane. With that commitment to bottom lane, Swain's just going to go up and pick up the windmill.
Yeah, very good focus shift from both Feetsky and Valandum. Also, want to point out, Mia Rose and Valandum took out a 2v2 fight against Warwick and Wukong. Warwick was already at half health being chased away in a 2v1 situation. Wukong came a little bit late, and Vayne was heading up there but got caught, as we saw, by Tempest CP and Feetsky, with that Painkiller survival method coming out from Urgot here, played by Tempest CP. Are we going to see Vayne show up? Yes, Vayne shows up, gets caught completely away from her teammates, is going to get slowed by Urgot. Can they pick up the kill before the fight begins? Yes, Vayne is down. Now it's a 4v2. Azizio now in the middle of the entire enemy team. Vayne Riven, putting out so much free damage. Nova tries to lock down Urgot, but it's not going to matter. Feetsky is the one at low health, and that's not the target they want to take out first right now. Riven is still alive. Mia Rose putting out so much disruption and damage. Brown Bruiser has come back up, cleanses the exhaust, but is that going to be enough? A double kill comes out. Can Miss Mia Rose chase through and get the kill? Yes, with the final stun is going to pick up the kill, and here is a great grab saving Valandum. Valandum going back to the top to clear the minion wave. Meanwhile, Noga Trisilence now in a 2v1 situation. Gonna be joined by Tempest CP in a 3v1. They're gonna take out the kill onto Warwick. Great fight coming out from Trepidation.
Yeah, that revive play, or maybe not so. I think it was a revive that got Vayne back out into that engagement. She seemed to come up very, very quickly. But Vayne coming in there that second time around, it was dangerously close to sealing the deal. However, a very solid exhaust in that engagement really helped them out. And now Feetsy coming up there for Brown Bruiser again, trying to catch Vayne away from everyone else as the other members of the team descend upon the drill there. Brown Bruiser getting taken down over by the refinery. Now No God Tri-Science has to try and defend that point.
That's not looking good though. There is the Garrison, but it's a 3v1. Metal Fenrir finally comes up from the bottom. And now it's a 3v2. Miss Mia Rose in a little bit of a dangerous situation. Feetsky also taking a lot of tower damage, but still gets a grab, relying on the mana barrier to survive. They're gonna pick off Warwick, and now it's a 3v1. Easy kill for Trepidation, getting the ace. And that is going to be game for Trepidation. A lot of back and forth, but eventually it's gonna be the red team that will move on in tonight's